Hi, everybody. Welcome to our first Building Community from Home video hosted by Sussex County Habitat for Humanity. My name is Kevin Gilmore and I serve as Executive Director of Sussex County Habitat. I'm pleased to have today Katey Jo Evans from Evans Farm and the Frozen Farmer here as our guest. And I look forward to learning as much from her as I can. First, I want to start with an update and some background about Habitat for Humanity. We believe in a world where everyone has a decent place to call home. For the past 10 days, I've self-quarantined at home due to a COVID exposure. I'm fine, but the experience of staying at home has been very eye-opening. I'm fortunate to have a place that is warm and safe, but that's not the case for everyone. At Habitat, we hear stories every day of people living in overcrowded situations, unhealthy homes, homes that have mold, lack of heat, lack of insulation, holes in the floor, holes in the ceiling, holes in the roof. At Habitat, we're working every day to improve housing of families in Sussex County. Let me tell you a little bit about this. Habitat was started nearly 30 years ago here in Sussex by a small group of dedicated volunteers who recognized the need for affordable housing. Over this period, we've built over 150 homes. These homes are built with lots of volunteer support, and we help make the financing affordable to those of low income. Yes, we do sell the homes. In fact, most of our home buyers have a 30-year mortgage. We just make it affordable. The home buyers also do sweat equity. They help in the construction of their house and other people's houses. It's not a giveaway. Now, in this time of COVID, we've been challenged. Our model has been challenged. How do you bring people together to build homes, communities, and hope? Environment where you can't even bring people together. And in fact, gathering is not something we can do now until it's safe again. So for this time, our volunteers are not out on site like they usually are, and we look forward to having them back someday. But in the meantime, we have to get creative. Despite these limitations, the pandemic has caused us to look at new ways of helping people with affordable housing. As a result, we've expanded into some other services. We asked ourselves, what can we do to keep people in their homes, to make them safer and more affordable? With that in mind, we developed a number of energy savings programs to help people lower their utility costs. We're doing free home energy inspections. We have an insulated skirting program for those who live in manufactured houses to help better insulate their house. We have a refrigerator replacement program to help get rid of old refrigerators that are energy inefficient and replace them with new efficient refrigerators. Additionally, we've launched a home repair program focusing on home modifications that can help people age in their house safely, help them get around in their house safely. And also weatherization programs to help keep the elements outside and the comfort inside very comfortable. In addition to these programs, we have a financial literacy coach on staff who provides free financial coaching to those who want to. We believe that if you take control of your finances, other things in life are easier to focus on, especially your housing. Well, that's a lot of information. And in honor of Katey Jo Evans, who is from Bridgeville, I want to highlight a little bit more about just Western Sussex. We've built 43 homes in Western Sussex. We currently have plans for 13 more, which include 3 in Seaford and 10 in Laurel. And today I want to highlight our newest project, which was the last image in that slideshow we just watched, called Hope Hill. This lies along the banks of the Broad Creek. As you're walking along the Broad Creek and you're getting close to Fisher Park and the railroad tracks, right there will be the site of Hope Hill, a 5-unit single-family cottages that overlook the Broad Creek. We're currently taking applications for these homes and other homes in the area, and we hope that you'll continue to watch that progress of that project. So that's an update on Sussex County Habitat. I want to thank you for being part of this community, building community from home forum. And our next segment of this episode is getting to know local businesswoman Katey Jo Evans from the Frozen Farmer and Evans Farms. So I want to welcome Katey Jo.
Hi, Kevin. Thank you for that. And thank you so much for all you're doing from a member of the Western Sussex community. It's so encouraging to hear all of the wonderful things that Habitat for Humanity is doing.
Thank you, Katie. We are looking forward to the start of this new partnership together. I am curious, when we reached out to you and you know, someone from Habitat calls you up and says, Katey Jo, would you mind doing a conversation with Kevin from Habitat? What was your motivation to say yes? Because you've been wonderful to work with.
Well, I've always thought the model for Habitat for Humanity was so inspiring, and the work that you guys do in the community is so.
Thank you, Katie. It looks like we froze up a little bit there, so we'll wait for you to come back. We're just thrilled to have Katey Jo with us today, and just some really neat experiences that she's had as a local businesswoman and as building a brand that's not just here in Delaware, but throughout our country. So I'm sure she'll be back with us here in a moment. We just want to, hey, Katey Jo.
Hi, I'm sorry. We've talked about it all day with the weather here, and gotta love Western Sussex with the connectivity issues.
Absolutely.
Whenever we get big winds, it's like the internet loves to cut in and out, and we've had no problems all day, you and I, testing this. But I was saying that what inspired me to say yes to the opportunity with Habitat is just the amazing work that you guys do. And a big part of us growing our brand to be what it is becoming is exciting for us to be able to give back more to the community. And I think that this is part of that first step, and saying yes to the community involvement opportunities. And certainly you guys have some amazing things going on at Habitat, and that's something that we really want to be a part of and are really excited.
Well, thank you. We are glad that you're here right now. And just to get into a little bit more about you, tell us some about yourself and your family and your history here in Sussex.
Yeah, so my family, I am part of the Evans Farms family. I married Kevin Evans, who is a third-generation farmer from Bridgeville. I grew up in Greenwood myself, so I'm a local girl too. But Evans Farms was established in 1943, so we're third generation, carrying on the farming tradition. And we started the Frozen Farmer in 2015 after we had a food waste issue on our family farm. We were growing for grocery retailers throughout the local region, and the more acres of produce that we grew for our grocery partners, the more perfectly good food we saw that we had going to waste, not because it didn't taste good, but just because it didn't look good. And so we established the Frozen Farmer as a way really to start, you know, the core reason of our business was to give back to the community, give back to the earth, and reduce our food waste footprint here on farm, first and foremost being good stewards of the land. And so we started the Frozen Farmer to use our misfit and ugly fruit that we couldn't sell to our grocery retailers in our line of frozen confections.
So you have two companies, right? So there's the Evans Farms, and then there's the Frozen Farmer. Could you tell us a little bit about each of those companies?
Yeah, they play hand in hand. For me, sometimes there's really no definitive line from one to the other, but you know, Evans Farms is our produce side of our operation. We sell our produce to regional chain stores in the Northeast region. Giant Foods is one of our really big produce buying partners. Harris Teeter, if you shop there, you've seen our produce. Redner's Warehouse Markets. We also supply a lot of awesome restaurants in Delaware, like the Sodell Group, with our fresh produce when we're local in season. We partner with some of the school districts in our local area to supply them fresh produce when we're local in season. And so managing the sales and the accounts for the produce side of the operation is part of my job. We also have an on-farm market here on 404 where we welcome customers to come and shop our selection. We were actually Delaware's first drive-through farmers market in 2016 when we opened our building here on farm. And as we have seen this year through the pandemic, that has very much well served its purpose. And we were a little ahead of our time on that. So it's been an interesting year for us. And at first, what people kind of laughed at as an idea, you know, why would anybody want to drive through a produce market when we can go in and pick out our produce, kind of came to reality for us this year and when we had to pivot for the pandemic. So That is the farm side of our operation. We till close to 3,000 acres. We also do large scale processing vegetables, and we have our fresh market crop as well. So, and then the frozen farmer is our farm creamery, the one that was on Shark Tank.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing more about that. You brought up Shark Tank, and for those of you who don't know, Katey was on Shark Tank, and definitely I would Google it and check it out. She did a fantastic job on Shark Tank, but I've never talked to anybody who's been on Shark Tank before, and I watch it a lot. How do you prepare for a show like that?
Well, it was kind of a full year process for us. People had been telling us really since we opened our doors to the Frozen Farmer in 2015 that we should pitch our product to Shark Tank. Being a new young mom to 2 kids under 2 years old at that time, I didn't have a lot of TV time, so I wasn't an avid Shark Tank, viewer, but I did start watching some episodes when, we kept hearing it over and over and over again. And we actually were never really proposing to go into major grocery retail with our product. We created the Frozen Farmer as a way for us to reduce our own food waste footprint here on farm. And we thought, okay, we'll open a local creamery and we'll have our food truck and we'll do events throughout our local community. But Giant Foods presented us with a really unique opportunity our very first year in business. Actually, before we even opened our doors to the public, we took some of our very first flavors to a corporate Giant Food produce meeting with our produce buyers, kind of as a way to give back to our produce team. Hey, you sell our watermelons in your chain, try our watermelon sorbet. It's our way to say thank you. Well, the president of Giant Foods was in the building that day, and the produce team loved the flavor so much they pulled the president of the chain into the meeting and made him try it. And before we knew it, we were sitting across from the ice cream category buyer. We didn't even have all of our business, plans together, but we had this incredible opportunity, and Giant's been an amazing partner for us in that way. They told us, look, we'll grow, as you're comfortable of growing, take on as many stores as you want to take on in year 1. So they allowed us 3 years of growth with Giant Foods. And by year 3, we were in about 58 stores. And then we were in a produce meeting and they said, we think that your product line could be like the Skinny Girl brand. And you could do so many things with Misfit fruit, whether it's salad dressings or, energy bars or any kind of, spin-off item. And we really want to help the Frozen Farmer grow. And they said, well, we want you in all locations of Giant nationwide, which there's 164 stores. So we were really excited about the opportunity. I'm a yes person. And I went to this app called Cameo, and I sent a request out to the Skinny Girl brand owner, Bethany Frankel, who was actually a former guest shark on seasons 9 and 10 of Shark Tank. And I said, hey, we have this incredible opportunity with Giant Foods and they're comparing our brand to yours. And could you send us like this congratulatory video to share with our Giant Food partners? Well, she sent back a video saying congrats for your Giant partnership, but it also said, I think your product would be perfect for Shark Tank. And so I thought, okay, well, if there's ever a time, this is my sign. I can't live the rest of my life thinking what if. And quite honestly, we really needed the money to grow our brand to that level. And so we attended a casting call in May of 2018. And by June, we had learned we made the show. September, 2019, I'm sorry. September, we went and pitched in Hollywood. And then in 2020, our episode aired.
Wow, what a story of how all those pieces came together and led up to that. And also the time frame is amazing to me, that this was over multiple years. This has been a multi-year venture. When we got back from making our pitch in California, we were home about a week and the phone rang, and it was the producers letting us know that we had been selected for the feature home package episode, which for us was super exciting because that meant that the producers of Shark Tank were going to fly here to Bridgeville and film at our farm creamery and our operation. But it was funny because we were under all of these confidentiality constraints that we couldn't let anybody in the community know, not even our key staff. Some of them didn't even know that we were applying for Shark Tank. So we went through this full year process of keeping this enormous secret.
And then this entire production team comes into town, and, you know, Bridgeville's a small town. So, you know, it was quite the shock when they're ordering lunch at the local, you know, deli, and going around to our employees saying, "Hi, I'm the producer of Shark Tank," and our employees, like, their jaws just dropping, like, what in the world? Like, yeah, by the way, we forgot to tell you.
Big news in Bridgeville. That is
Right.
awesome.
It was quite the event.
So you already had this momentum of a very successful business going into Shark Tank. How have things changed post Shark Tank after that?
Well, certainly the pandemic has changed a lot for all businesses in Delaware. We were no different. Our on-farm sales here at the creamery, our food truck sales are extremely down for this year. Our Shark Tank episode actually aired the week of the pandemic shutdowns. So for us, you know, we were super pumped because we had this whole year we were prepping for this big event in our life. And then we had such mixed emotions, and we felt so differently the week of our episode airing than we ever anticipated feeling, because, you know, it was like you almost couldn't even be excited. There was something so much bigger than our episode airing that was going on in the world. And we were going through a time of, you know, unprecedented panic, and you know, everyone was scared, not knowing, you know, what this virus was, or the scope, or what it meant for, you know, business in America overall. And the grocery chains that we thought would be calling us after our Shark Tank episode wanting our product in store, they didn't call, because the grocery stores were going through this monumental piece in time that, you know, they didn't even know how they were going to keep items on their shelf. Fulfillment was a nightmare. We had inventory in our warehouse ready to distribute to our grocery partners, but the logistics companies were overwhelmed. We couldn't get it from the warehouse to the store. And it was just kind of this thing that we just really, nothing could have prepared you, you know, for 2020. And I think any business owner will tell you that. But for us, we actually got a re-airing of our episode in June. And that's when the grocery chains started calling, after they started adapting to work from home situations. Replenishment started, you know, working its way out, and everybody learned that, you know, this may be, you know, and I hate the term, you know, everybody uses the new normal, but, you know, that's the reality of it.
Right. Right. Well, and there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I think most of us feel like things are going to improve, hopefully sooner rather than later. But you have some future plans. Obviously, there's a lot of unknown in the world right now, but where do you see the company going in the future?
Well, for us, you know, we took the pandemic as an opportunity to pivot. We were lucky that we already had built a drive-through window. So our drive-through business this year has been, you know, more than it ever was before. We launched our online e-commerce fulfillment of our pints nationwide. And within 3 months, we had shipped into 43 states. So that's something that's always been on our to-do list and our bucket list as a business. But I think, you know, the pandemic was kind of that extra kick in the butt to get it done. And so, you know, it was one of those things that there's never been a better time to launch an online business, but also never really a worse time, because then you're dealing with all of these delays with shipping. So for us, you know, our future looks like saturating more grocery chain shelves now, that the grocery stores have gotten back on their feet. Fulfillment has kind of worked its way out. Logistics has worked its way out. And we as a country have learned to adapt and pivot all together.
Right. Wow, that's fascinating. We had a few submissions of questions from our viewers when they were signing up for this event tonight. So I'm going to switch over to them and ask a few of their questions. This is a fun question. Who comes up with ideas for new desserts or flavors, and who gets to name the new products?
That's a very much joint effort between everyone in our family and all of our staff. Sometimes we've taken polls online to let our customers be a part of the flavor naming experience. We've also taken polls online to let our customers know what they want us to see. You know, what new flavors do they want? And that's always something really fun for us to take into consideration. So yeah, it's a joint effort around here for sure.
I'm sure it's a fun process, and a lot of good conversations come out of that.
Yeah.
Here's a question is, what is it like working with your family every day?
Interesting. You know, when you live where you work, and for us, we live where we own two businesses. We're raising three kids here. You know, we have in-laws working in the business. We have cousins, uncles, aunts, sisters, brothers, children, nieces. It's really an interesting family dynamic. You know, at the end of the day, it's incredibly rewarding and fulfilling knowing that we're all working toward the same common goal. But for us, you know, and this is conversations we've had just, you know, kind of in our downtime. No day ever feels like we're going to work, because for us, work and life is all one. I will say that, you know, as a young kid, you always dream of what you're going to do someday. Did I ever see myself marrying a farmer? Absolutely not. No way. But there's nothing in the world that I would rather do. It's incredibly rewarding, fulfilling, and just so wonderful. It makes life so much sweeter when you're able to share it with people you love. And for us, that makes our work team and our family team.
Well, it's so fun to hear your passion for your businesses and for your lifestyle. A lot of us, you know, find mentors along the way who help kind of give us that sense of where we want to be. Is there anybody in your life that you see as a mentor?
Absolutely. My husband is probably my biggest business mentor. He owns three other companies aside from the farm as well. So, you know, I kind of call him a serial entrepreneur, but you know, he's always full of incredible business advice. His role in The Frozen Farmer is really taking a step outside and making sure that, you know, we're looking through everything from an even angle. There are a lot of things that he brings to the table because I'm in the business and my mom is in the business every single day, all day long. I'm waking up in the middle of the night to jot down notes and Google something. You know, he comes at it from a fresh frame of mind. And sometimes that's such an incredibly valuable asset to have in a mentor. And, you know, again, it kind of goes back to that, you know, how do you handle family and business dynamic? I mean, for us, it's made us an incredibly strong team together.
It sounds like it. You guys are just an amazing family and seem like just amazing companies. What is there that we can do? I mean, we have folks from throughout the county who are watching today. What can we do to support you and your companies?
Well, I would say, you know, keep doing what you're doing. We have been so overwhelmed and so incredibly humbled and thankful for the support of the community. You know, come out to the events that we'll eventually host again on the farm. I know we're looking to host an event together in May in our strawberry farm to table dinner in the strawberry patch. You know, bring your family here on the weekends for that sweet treat. You know, we have birthday cakes that make great gifts. So, you know, supporting our business definitely goes a long way in our ability to give back and support the community, and just know how thankful we are for that support.
I'm glad you mentioned the farm to table fundraiser that you're doing with Habitat at your place at the farm. Tell us a little bit about that venue. May 22nd is the date, but I just want everybody to hear a little bit about how amazing the location is and how excited we are to be there with you.
Yeah, we're crazy excited about it. It's something that's always been a dream of ours. I've told my husband for the past 5 years or more that we needed to have a U-Pick strawberry patch. And so last year he finally granted my wish, and they planted 5 acres of strawberries right here beside our farm creamery and our farm market. And it's a beautiful patch. And then, of course, COVID hit this year in March. And when May came around, we didn't know, you know, there were so many regulations that we would have to comply to have our U-Pick strawberries. We were weighing whether or not it was even worth it. We had discussed maybe doing a drive-through strawberry U-Pick, but there were so many parameters around that. Everything's weather contingent. You don't want anybody's car getting stuck in the field. We don't want to ruin our precious plants. And so we weren't able to open our U-Pick strawberry patch last last year, but I'm super excited for the community to experience our beautiful strawberry patch here on farm. And we're going to set up tables in the patch as long as weather permits and have people here. We'll invite them into the creamery for a tour of our creamery, take them through a little ice cream making demo, give them some farm family history, some information and fun facts about strawberry growing, our commodity here in Western Sussex. And it'll just be a really great night of fellowship and learning and fun on the farm.
It sounds like it, and I'm glad that we're looking far enough out that hopefully things will come back to some normalcy and we can have a wonderful event. A lot of people come out, so everybody mark your calendar now for May 22nd for the Farm to Table event at Evans Farms and their strawberry patch. We're looking forward to that. I do have one thing. I can't get off this Zoom today without at least trying the Frozen Farmer ice cream. So I went out and got some. I actually went to the local Giant, which is I live in Long Neck area, so this is some. Hold that up to the camera. Let's see. The vanilla bean is the one I picked here. So I feel like this is one of those TV shows where they just cook something and now it gets to taste it. So
honest and raw opinions here.
Yeah, that's right. Pure vanilla. It's as good as everybody says it is.
Great.
Wow, that's delicious. I'm gonna have a little bit more.
Well, and you have our old packaging. I have something very exciting to share with everybody tonight.
Oh,
Our very first sneak peek
nice.
of our new packaging.
And that's the sorbet too, right?
This is the sorbet, yeah. Let me see how I can hold it here so everybody can see it. And then you can see it's only 70, this side, 70 calories per pint.
I'll have to go back and get that since I'm on a diet. So that's exactly what
I hate to tell you this and be the bearer of bad news, but unless something has changed, Giant may be sold out of the strawberry sorbet because they have a reset coming up.
Okay.
So we actually are switching items over. So I've got a big meeting with them tomorrow about getting this restocked back on their shelf before long here, because we sold them our very last few pallets earlier this month.
Well, those are good problems to have. That is just wonderful news. Thank you so much, Katey Jo, for joining me tonight and just having this wonderful conversation. I wish you much success in both of those businesses and all the other things that you guys have going on as a family. Many blessings, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for the opportunity, and we are super excited about partnering with you in the future for all of the amazing things that you're doing. And we'll see you soon. All right, bye-bye. Wonderful time together with Katey Jo Evans, and I just want to take a final moment to thank each of you for joining us for the first Building Community from Home video. It was a pleasure to share with you, and I wish you well. Be safe, and God bless.